for joining us for a new webinar. This is our seventh week of webinars here at Mix with the Masters. There's a lot of you guys around, a lot of early birds. You guys have a lot of questions already in. We're very honored tonight and today to welcome a very special guest. Today we're joined by producer and songwriter Boi-1da. How are you, Wanda?
Cheers. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for joining us. It's an honor.
Thanks for having me. It's gonna be real fun to be up here and connect with all these people across the world, all trapped inside. So it's a real honor, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you. There's a lot of people, yeah, like you said, all around the world, and thanks to you guys who are connecting. Sometimes it's really late. It's 4 a.m. in Japan.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for joining us and staying up late to ask your questions. So why don't we get to it?
Okay, perfect.
All right, first question is from Sarmad Ghafoor. Sarmad says, hello and thank you so much for doing this. In your opinion, what do all the great artists have in common, vocal-wise?
All the great artists, that's the beauty of it, is all the great artists in the world don't have things. Some of them don't have anything in common, which is what makes, the spice of variety so great when it comes to music, because like people are completely different. You can listen to one artist and they're just completely way different from another artist. So maybe like what's in common is like basically consistency, work ethic, and just basically just the formula that they have going. But like I think every artist is different in their own way. So
Sarmad has another question. He wants to know, do you have any tips for producing one's own vocals?
Do I have any tips for producing one's own vocals? No. I'm not, I'm not much of an engineer. I haven't recorded too many vocals in my life, and that's like, I do mainly a lot of just the music creation and the beats production, arrangement, or whatnot. So unfortunately, I couldn't. I'm just being honest. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think you gotta ask them in like order either. You could like mix it up. Yeah.
All right. Connor Wallace wants to know.
Shout out Connor Wallace.
What's your approach when you start a production?
My approach when I start a production is completely random. I don't ever like have a set formula. I do, for the most part, like to start with drums sometimes, but for the most part, it can come from anything. Come from playing something. It can come from like a sample. It can come from, just starting off with drums, even hearing a sound or anything. But I don't have a formula. It's different for me every time. Every time I start working on a new project.
Robert Cochran has the same type of question, but he wants to know how do your ideas get started? Like, how do you build an idea to get into a song?
How do I build an idea to get into a song? Usually when we start making a song, a lot of the times where it's just, being in the studio, it's a conversation a lot of the time, and with the artist, and kind of direction they're trying to go in. So yeah, like usually sometimes it starts with a conversation and like what's going on in their life, and yeah, like it starts with that really.
Okay. There's another question here. What's your ratio of songs or ideas that you throw away or have to move past before you get something good? And how do you know it's good?
Oh, I have I swear I have ADHD, so I literally will start something and just like be off it like in the next 2 minutes, and then just start something else completely different. I like to just like be in the vibe and in the moment, so like it's just different every time. I'll just make something quick, and then I'll make something really intricate, or like it varies every time. It's always different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's different.
Andrea Cavallaro, she says hi. How do you pick how do you pick the right sound preset from a VST Real Synth when you're creating a beat? And what do you do with the sample? Send it to Sample Gateway on IG.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Sample Gateway. That's my brother. He's been he has a cool Twitch platform where he finds samples from producers and brings it straight to me, and I create straight off of it. So check him out for sure. But my process of picking the sounds, it just comes from my own liking. Like if I hear something that sounds crispy and sounds like nice to me, I'll just use it. It's really just your own taste and your own ear. There's no like nothing formulaic to it for me. Like I literally just hear something that I like and I use it, and hopefully hope that you guys all like it too. So
Phil Smiles says he wants to know what your opinion is on producer tags.
my opinion on producer tags, I think producer tags are dope. It's really and truly like something like new age, you know what I'm saying? Like I personally don't have a producer tag, and it doesn't mean that I don't like producer tags. I just came up from a time when, like my favorite producers, like I was listening to growing up, never had tags, and that's like something like a lot of new producers do and put tags on their beat. But I just feel like, I thought about it for myself, but I just feel like for myself it's too late. Like I've been going years with no tag, so me just coming out of nowhere with a tag right now, it's kind of like the old guy losing his hair that's like putting on a toupee or something. You know what I'm saying? So I just leave it. But it's good for branding, and like a lot of producers, like like guys like Metro, Southside, Murda, what's it called? Mike Will, Mustard. So many guys have gotten so many people familiar with their tags that it's just great for marketing and great for business. So man, salute to tags. I don't have one, but I don't have a problem with tags. I love tags actually, because like sometimes the tag and the drop in the beat with the tag just makes it even crazier. Like when the Metro Boomin tag dropped on Father Stretch My Hands, that was nuts. Like what I'm saying? It was a moment. So yeah, that's my take on producer tag.
Okay. On to the next question. Sling Sound Studio. They want to know what your favorite DAW for music production, especially for beat making.
What
is your favorite DAW?
My favorite DAW is, I keep it simple. I just use FL Studio 11 and 10. I'm still outdated. I haven't updated to 20 yet. I will soon. I've been pressured by T- every day. Shout out to T-. He pressures me every day to download FL 20. I'll get to it eventually, but I like my, FL Studio and FL Studio 10, 11. And, I just, basic stuff, MIDI keyboard. I use a, what do you call it? A Sager laptop. It's a really fast gaming and music computer. And that's it really. I keep it really simple.
Okay. Next question is from Steven Lopez. Steven Lopez
Shout out Steven Lopez.
Says your Drake records have such incredible low end. How much of that is established in the production stage, sound selection, building the relationship between kick and bass versus the mixing process?
Yeah, thank you, Steven. Yeah, my low end, a lot of it is, like just good sound selection, but as well as, Drake's also surrounded by world-class mix and mastering guys like 40 and Gadget. You know what I'm saying? Those guys can mix the hell out of a song. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I do give credit to my sound selection, but there's also times that like, 40 and Gadget have mixed a track of mine that they just brought it out even crazier than it was before. So, yeah, I give credit to the mixing and mastering team and myself for picking good sounds. So.
All right, next question is from Peter C. He says, "Hi, Boi-1da. Big fan of your works, and you are a big inspiration to me. Just wanted to ask you, how do you know your beat isn't overdone, but not too simple for an artist just to pass on?"
How do you know your beat is not overdone? Sometimes it's hard to know, but for me, I've been doing this so long. It's just like I just keep it really basic and I keep it really simple. If like if it just sounds full enough, it's full enough. You gotta put it like this: like as a producer and as somebody making the beat and the music, you're essentially providing the canvas for the artist to paint their picture on. So you can't have a canvas with a million things on it because the artist will have no room to paint. You know what I'm saying? So you have to just leave enough room for the artist to be the artist on the song. Like, like instead of having a million sounds going off on a beat, like an artist really gotta, have space to breathe and to move. So I try to keep my production as simple as I can.
Next question is from Max Berg.
What's up, Max?
Says, hey, thanks for taking the time. Wondering what a studio day was like for you before you broke through in the industry. Were you grinding it out, the whole 10,000 hour rule, or was your approach more relaxed?
I was seriously grinding. I was grinding hard. Every day I would probably, I would pull up to the studio a lot, but when I was at home, I had like a little setup in my mom's basement, and I was pumping out like 4 beats a day at least. That was just because I was just young and I just enjoy. Like I still enjoy it, obviously, but like I was just so excited to just make music. So it was a different time back then, and I was really on it. I definitely put way more than 10,000 hours. Like I don't even know how much hours at this point I put in, but back then I was going nuts. So I put in a lot of work, and I have anybody who knows me. I have no musical background. I don't play any instruments. I can't like tell you what an A flat or a major key or D, like whatever. Like I can't tell any of that stuff is. I just have been engulfed in it for so long that I just figured out a way to make music and make it sound great without, really knowing the technical side of it. I kind of make music from a fan's perspective and just literally hearing what I like and making it happen. So, I just put so much work into it that I just learned without even knowing like real actual details, So that 10,000 hour rule is actually very real with anything that you do. If you put enough time and work and effort into it, it doesn't matter if you even know technical things, you'll know exactly what you're doing. So that's what happened with me.
Okay. Next question is from Jay. He says, yo, Wanda.
Yo, what up, Jay?
How much compression do you tend to use for your 808s? I know it would vary track to track, but I'm struggling and finding myself either compressing too much or not enough.
Jay, you want to know something crazy, bro? I don't compress nothing. I don't compress anything. Nothing on any of my beats before they get mixed or mastered are compressed. My shit is going redlining crazy. Like I just don't care. I just make it how I like it. Like I don't. I'm not saying that you should follow the rules of certain things and whatnot. But with me, I just don't obey those kind of rules, and I just whatever sounds good to me sounds good. So. You can compress stuff if you want and if it makes sense, but yeah, me, I just do what I do.
We have a next question from Nicolo.
Mm-hmm.
Nicolo says, hi, Wanda. How do you process your sample to make them sound so real and analog?
I process my samples in analog. I don't even process samples in analog. I'll just get a sample like an MP3. Sometimes I rip samples off YouTube. And yeah, I don't do any of that. Yeah, I keep it really simple, man. Like there's not like like sometimes people think that there's some sort of like I'm doing something like crazy in the background, but like and that's really simple what I'm doing. There's not much to it.
Simranjeet Singh, he's from India.
Oh, wow, India, crazy! Shout out to India.
My question is, do you use any real analog gear on your beats or when you mix, or are they all plug-in simulation?
No, I haven't used any real analogs on my beats. Majority of things that I use are plug-in. And then when things get mixed and whatnot, yeah, like I'm sure maybe some analog is used here and there. But for myself, yeah, I use all the VSTs and just like plug-in type stuff, So.
We have Shane. Shane says aloha from Maui.
Wow, Maui. I want to go there one day, man. Shout out to Shane from Maui.
We got people.
Oh, that's all he said?
Yeah, that's all he said. He said aloha. Yeah. He says, what up? Phil Smiles. What's your advice on collaboration with other producers, and what tools would you recommend for collabs?
What's my advice on collaboration? I love collaborating with other producers. It's actually just fun to me. Like I like being in a room with a bunch of creative people and just bouncing ideas off each other until we make the best thing possible, because every person realistically has their strengths, and everybody, combining everybody's strength together to make something perfect is the funnest thing for me, and I enjoy collaborating with producers. I collaborate with a lot of producers, and it's just like, like just being around people and making music is fun. Like, you know, I've made music in a room by myself for years, and like I just find it within myself more fun to just be around people and be around vibe and energy and making music with others, you know? So
we got two people here from Portugal. Ricardo and Mali Beats say what up from Portugal.
What up, Ricardo? What up, Mali Beats? Portugal is a very nice place. Been there once. Fire.
You have Augustine from Argentina saying what up.
What up, Augustine? Argentina. Well, it's crazy. From all over the world, man.
Yeah. Julio Garzon. He says, hello from London, Ontario. Thank you for doing this, man. This is amazing. I know you probably have a recorder and mix engineer, but how would I be able to work with you on something?
Recorder and mix engineer. Shoot. Yeah, just you can send stuff to Sample Gateway, you know, like it's on my Instagram. You can see it in the bio. You know, send stuff straight over to him. Everything that goes to him, I listen to, you know. It's my brother, and he just organizes everything. You know, I'm not the most organized. I'm not the greatest like person with all that. So I leave it up to him, and he gets all the music to me, and I literally hear everything. So the best way I'd say is just send things through him.
Okay, we have a question from Open Till Late. He says, how do you suggest balancing music and your personal life, relationships, etc.?
You see, that one is an interesting one, man, because like I'm a father, and you know I spend a lot of time with my family. I'm a very active dad, and I also have a very like time demanding career. So you know, for me, you know, my family and my child come before anything. You know, so it's like, you know, I'm blessed to be able to have all this success and have made life easier, and I'm also blessed to have a family that when I do have to go on the road and do some work, they can like, you know, take care of my kid while I'm gone or something like that, you know. So it's very important to balance those things, man, because I feel like family is really important, and you know, and just keeping the right people around you and people that really, truly, genuinely love you is very important, and not to get lost in ego and just like the game, you know. You can like literally get lost in this thing like it's a game. So, you know, I love to be around my family, and I spend a lot of time with my family. So I find that more important than anything else. So it's what I do the most. So it's up to you on how you want to balance your time. But that's the way I balance my time, and I find that's what's most important to me.
So we have Salman from Scarborough.
Okay, big up Scarborough.
He says, how do you manage to encapsulate the perfect Toronto sound in your music?
Encapsulate. Big words, bro. I gotta look that up. Encapsulate. How do I? And I just think I can encapsulate it because I'm from Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up out here. Everybody and anybody from Toronto knows that the music we listen to is very diverse. You know, we're a big melting pot of culture out here, and you know, we don't segregate the culture either. You know, like we listen to other people's music. We eat other foods. We're very engulfed with each other, and you know, that is just the Toronto mentality and the Toronto way of doing things, and that's how, you know, a lot of producers, a lot of artists from Toronto are so diverse. You know, they listen to different genres, different styles of music, and you know, they keep an open mind. So, you know, that's what I do, and I think it, you know, just being from Toronto, it comes out in my music.
Next question is from Nate. He says, how do you make your drums hit so hard in FL?
Bro, Nate, shout out Nate Wolford. I get this question a lot. How do I make my drums hit so hard in FL? And everybody thinks there's some sort of crazy science to it. Everyone thinks that there's like some plugin that I use. You know, sometimes I'll use like a little boost of a plugin, but honestly, like it's just all ear. Like I just turn it up loud and as loud as I can get it. And if it sounds like good, and I level it out and I listen and I tune and I turn down, and yeah, like I just turn up the volume, bro.
All right, next question is from Introspectives. He says, when creating your kicks and 808s, do you sidechain the 808s to your kicks that you can create enough room in the mix for your kicks to punch through?
Introspectives, I've never sidechained an 808. Maybe, have I? No. I don't think I've ever sidechained an 808. I'm going to try that today, though. I've never sidechained an 808. I want to see how that sounds. That's kind of cool.
I'm wonder, is it true that you push the 808s to start your career?
Is it true that you push the 808s to start your career? I'm not quite sure what that means. If I push the 808s to start my career, I don't know what that means.
All right, next question. Ian Usher. He says, "Hey Wanda, sonically and melodically, where are you making sure to leave room for the artist?" I guess he kind of regarding frequency and space, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of answered that before, where I said, like, I on my beats, I try not to put too much. I just try to leave like room, I just try to leave room for the artist.
Same questions. Love from Argentina.
Shout out to Argentina. I'm getting a lot of love from Argentina, man. Like, shout out, man. Like, I gotta come to Argentina when this is all over, man. For real, for real.
Oh, this guy says, "Why do you prefer FL11?" This is from Eddie Van Halen. He says, "Why do you prefer FL11 over FL20? Is it the legacy FX and legacy blocks?"
The legacy effects and legacy blocks have a lot to do with it. Although, like, those things are also available in the FL20, but it just it's for me. It's like there was a lot of change in FL20, whereas like I'm always working, so it's like for me to sit down and like learn something right now, it's just on me, really. It's like I need to just do that. Like, when they say like just jump into the water, water might be cold, but just jump in there. I just haven't really jumped into the water on FL20 yet, but I will eventually, because it is a lot faster and there's a lot more things you can do. It just, to me, the way I do things, like I'm very fixed in on like, if something is not broke, don't fix it. And like FL20 from 11 looks completely different. If FL Studio could find a way to make FL20 look exactly like 11 and 10, I'm downloading it literally tomorrow. But the only reason I haven't is because it just looks different to me. It looks a lot like Pro Tools or like another program. And yeah, my eyes are just not ready for that yet. I'm just a little stubborn, and yeah, I'll get to it though.
This is from Phil Osofaya.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Do you prefer to send beats out or be in the studio with the artist?"
I prefer to be in the studio with the artist because it's just a vibe, man. Like being around people, and as you know, like with this whole quarantine thing going on now, it's like, like it's cool. It's cool to be around people, man. As human beings, we're meant to be around people, So, I feel like I get the best results being in the studio with the artist and just, hearing about what's going on in their life and getting that like real, like honesty in the music. You know what I'm saying? And then bringing it out in the music and in the production and everything. So like I really enjoy, there's guys that I send out music to and certain artists that I send music to and whatnot. But I really enjoy being in the studio and just vibing with the artist, like, yeah, that's me though,
Here's a question from Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Hi from Puerto Rico. How much audio processing do you leave up to the mix engineer?"
I leave up everything to do with audio to the mix engineer. I don't really do anything with the audio, not yet at least, I'm still a big kid in this. I got a lot to learn, I'm gonna learn eventually, but
Rama Bosch says, "Mr. Wanda, you are great. Which synth plugin are you using nowadays?"
What up, Rama? To be honest, synth plugins, I use I've been using like the same ones for like years, like Omnisphere 2, Fab Filter. They have a lot of dope synths in there. Some what's it called? Even sometimes I'll use Nexus 2. Yeah, like I use like some pretty like basic stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Like it just depends on what you do with some of the sounds. So yeah, I use those ones. I've been using those ones for years. And a couple of new VSTs. I'm due for like an upgrade of like I'm about to go like hunting for new VSTs and sounds and everything. Just to get a different feel and a different vibe. But like I basically like stick to the guns of the same virtual instruments that I've been using for like 10 years.
We got a question from, well, basically like a statement. Mandeep says, we need a tutorial. We need a tutorial on you using delays and reverbs.
I need a tutorial on using delays and reverbs for sure. I'm gonna start going on Twitch. I'm gonna start streaming myself making music soon. So I mean, you can see all that stuff when I start doing that. So just stay tuned and stay tapped in. I'm gonna show you guys some stuff and put y'all on game.
Next question is from T1K. He says, "What's your approach to overcoming beat block?" I guess it's like
my approach to overcoming beat blocks is just go do something else. Go watch a movie. Go hang out with your friends. Go have a drink. Go play a video game. Go listen to something you never listened to before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just do something different. It's just like motivation. Sometimes you just need to just motivate yourself. Like, there'll be times when I'm on like a producer block and I literally just go out with my friends, turn up, have a good time. I wake up the next day and I'm like, yeah, I feel inspired, you know, like, or just do something outside of the box, you know, or I watch a good movie. I'll be like, yo, I really like that movie. It makes me feel like making music, you know? So it's just, you got to go stimulate yourself with something other than music. So.
We got about a bunch of shout outs. Douglas from France.
Oh, a whole lot of Portugal shout outs. Shout out to France.
Sri Lanka. Dream X from Sri Lanka.
Wow, crazy.
Drumbox,
Mali Beach, shout out. Shout out Jose Vidal. I'm not sure what you said, but shout out to you. Hi from Tokyo. It's 4 a.m. here. Wow. Shout out to Mari in Tokyo. That's nuts. Well, the questions are coming in. They're coming in. Like we're getting them. We're getting them on the fly. So what's that? Oh, listen. Oh.
Okay. So from Raymond Doan. For producers, it is common knowledge that less is more. How many track sounds do you usually have on a beat? Do you layer sounds?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I layer sounds and whatnot, but like a lot of my beats, there's minimal, like not a lot of tracks, man. The most I'd say I'd have like 10, 11 tracks and that's a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? I keep it pretty skimple. You know what I'm saying? So.
Casey Keth, he says, hello, thanks, Boi-1da. What are your techniques for stereo width?
What are my techniques for stereo width?
Stereo width.
Stereo width? Yeah. Shout out Casey Keith, but I have no idea what stereo width is. I'm sorry. Shout out to you, though. I have no idea what that is, though.
Daniel Gonzalez says, how do you get the low end to sound clean while powerful?
How do you get the low end to sound clean while powerful? Like I was saying before, it kind of relates to the question I answered before, where everybody's like, how do you get your drums to hit so hard in FL? And I'm like, bro, like, I don't know if it's just something in FL or whatnot, but I just turn it up. Like, I just turn things up till they knock hard enough. I have about 3 speakers. I have my laptop speakers, which are pretty good speakers. And then I have my mains, and like sometimes I'll like run it off of my other speaker and even listen to stuff on my phone to like tune it perfectly. So that's really it, man. It's just all in here. It's all in the ear, and how loud you want everything to sound, you know?
So next question is from Aston Rudy. He says, do you have any tips or philosophy on taking rough ideas and structuring them to send to artists? Do you have a checklist before you send a pack of beats?
Any tips on philosophy on taking rough ideas and structuring them to send to artists? Yeah, you know, some artists, there's some artists, like, you know, a lot of artists in the R&B world, and a lot of like pop artists too, that like to hear like full songs and whatnot, or like have beats structured like a certain way. So yeah, there's you know, it just depends on which artist you're really like catering towards. You know, some artists just want the blank canvas. Some artists want the whole thing. You know, some want very minimal. Some want, you know, just a sample, just music to start with. It's always different. So you just got to figure out the tendency of the artist, and you know, getting to know them, and then after, that's how you figure it out.
Question from Alcan: do you think producers should mix and master their beats before sending them out for placements?
I don't think it matters if you mix and master your beats before sending them out to artists. Like, you know, obviously don't make your beat sound like it's coming out of like an explosion or something, but like, you know, like make the mix sound good. But I don't think mixing and mastering is gonna do anything, you know, for you. You know?
Next question from Pseudo: what's your favorite track that you produce and why?
Damn. Favorite track that I produced. That's like asking me like who's my favorite child. You know, like I love all my tracks. I don't know. I like a lot of them, but you know, I don't know. Maybe I have like a top like 3, maybe like Pound Cake is one of my favorite. You know, Black of the Berry is one of my favorite. I don't know. You know, those are 2 of my favorites, but I really like Tony's Story 2. I produced a song for Meek Mill called Tony's Story 2. I put a lot of detail in that beat, so that was a dope one for me too. You know, so yeah.
Next question from B Done Music. Please, can you let us know what is your favorite BPM?
You know what? Me, I'm so random. I don't have a favorite BPM. My BPMs are all over the place. I'll go to 100. I work on very low BPMs though. Like I'll do like 60, 80, 100. They're all different. Like they're all different, and depending on the type of beat you're making is what the BPM is going to be. So me, anybody that knows me and knows my production, I'm very diverse and wide. I have a wide range of music and styles that I do. So, you know, my range of BPM is all over the place, and I don't have like a steady like BPM.
So we have a question from Arsab Akskin.
Axkin.
What upcoming release are you most excited about? Shout out Sample Gateway.
Shout out Sample Gateway. Shout out Axkin. And what upcoming release am I most excited about? Some of them I can't talk about, but you already know, Drake already said it. He has an album coming soon. Really excited about that. But, you know, other artists like to, you know, keep it on the DL. So I'm going to respect that and just say that there's a lot of dope stuff that's coming out. And yeah, I'm going to leave it at that.
Tired Lights says, how do you stay inspired to continue outputting?
How do I stay inspired to continue outputting? I just love music, you know, like at this point, I'm just doing it still because I love it, you know, and I just love making music. I love the reaction I get from people hearing my production, and you know, that's the real payday for me, you know. Like I just like the fact that people really enjoy the music. Like obviously, it feels great to get paid for music and have your music as a success, but the real payday for me is like the people that love my music and the people that I can inspire and that I can motivate to help get in the same place that I am, and you know, just helping people, helping my friends, and you know, making sure all my friends win too, because like, you know, nobody wants to just win by themselves, you know. Maybe some people do, but I'm not like that, you know. I want everybody around me winning and everybody you know, to be successful around me. So that's the reason why I keep doing it.
Okay, we have a question from Toronto, from Sion. He says,
shout out Sion from Toronto.
Says, are you planning to do any projects with all of your production vision artists from the city and the industry? So are you planning to do like a Toronto project?
And he says, I want a 16 still. So do you want me to rap a 16? Or you want to rap a 16? I'm trying to figure it out. But are you planning to do a project with all your production? Yes, I am. But I want to make it perfect. I'm a perfectionist, and I don't ever, you know, I feel like a first impression is so important, and I don't ever want to put out no bullshit. So.
Okay, we have a question from Matsuz Winnick. It says, do you create when you get an inspiration, or do you produce to get inspired?
I create when I get an inspiration, you know. I don't ever try to force music, especially these days. Like, you know, like even like up to like, you know, the last 2 weeks, I really haven't really been inspired, but I just know it always comes in waves. You know, there'll be times when I'm on it for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight making music, but then there's just going to be downtime sometimes, you know, where you need to just relax and chill. And, you know, like I understand that I've been doing this since I was 15. I'm 33 now, and it just comes in waves, you know. Inspiration comes in waves. It'll hit you, and then it'll go away for a while. And then, you know, life will force you to do something else, and then it comes back to you. So, yeah, right now I'm just chilling, it's a little bit of downtime, but I'm never worried. I've been successfully doing this for over 10 years now. So it's like I know how it goes, and some people get scared. Like sometimes they're like, "Oh man, I don't feel inspired. Nothing's not going on. I don't got a song right now." But I don't care because I know it comes up. It goes up and down. Like it just So we'll see.
Okay. Next question is from Rama. I think this is his second question. He says, "Can you tell the story about making God's plan?"
Story about making God's plan. God's plan. Simple story. God's plan was a half-finished song, and it was already half finished, and I added some drums to it. Song done. Yeah.
Othello Beats. He says, on an average day, how many beats do you make?
On an average day, hey, sometimes I don't make any beats. Like I didn't make any beats. Maybe like I made some beats yesterday, but like prior to that, I didn't make anything in like 5 days. Sometimes like I just don't feel like it, so I don't. And sometimes I do. So it just depends on how I'm feeling.
Yes, this is a common question right now. I think 3 separate people have asked it. They said, "Wonder Girl said she learned how to make her drums knock. How did you help her?" And I guess somebody says in a Splice video with Wonder Girl, she said you have a trick to get your drums to knock, and that you showed her. What was that?
I think the trick was to just turn it up. Yo, honestly, Wonder Girl is so fire. Like I met Wonder Girl. I'm gonna tell you a story about when I met Wonder Girl. I met her at a beat battle when she was 14. Her mom came up to me and introduced me to her. A super shy girl, but I heard her music and she was just ready to go, like from the jump, man. Like I did have a chance to mentor her a little bit when she was younger, but like I can't take too much credit for it. She was just already dope. Like she was already fire. So man, I can't really take that much credit for Wonder Girl. She was just destined to be great, So
Matt Adams wants to know, which artists have you worked with that you vibe with the best?
Which artists I work with that I vibe with the best? Obviously I vibe with Drake. We've been working since we were kids. Like that's like one of my favorite guys. Obviously, like the guy I love working with. I enjoy working with Kendrick Lamar a lot. He's one of the greatest artists I've ever worked with as well. And I also enjoy working with producers. Like I enjoy working with Vinyls. I enjoy working with T Minus. I enjoy working with Jahan Sweet, Seven Thomas, OZ. Yeah, man. Audi. Like there's a lot of guys. Like I just enjoy collaborating. It's fun, and yeah, it's amazing. It's just fun to just work with those guys.
Okay, Baron says, do you have a system or approach when it comes to writing bass lines?
Bass lines.
I guess. What? Is it purely intuitive, or do you have some rules, approaches that you follow to lay down a first version?
When it comes to bass lines, it's just intuitive, man. It's like whatever I'm hearing, it's like I'm not like, okay, there's a formula to do this. There's no formula with me at all. It's just completely random. And for me, it's like I just lay down what I hear. Whatever I hear in my head, I lay it down. Damn, I need a haircut. Bad.
Okay, so Tedesco wants to know, is sending beats per email to artists or artist managements useful, or are the chances to be heard close to none?
It's useful. Definitely, there's been beats that have been placed through emails and sending it to managers, artists, friends, whoever, you know what I'm saying? There's definitely, you can get it any way you want, man. Just shoot your shot, Get it how you live.
Okay, Raviz Beats says, bruv. Have you ever experienced that a beat sounds dope in your studio but sounds hella trash in the car? And what do you do about this problem?
Yeah, that's happened a few times, but that is depending on the speakers that you're using. I've been in certain studios where the speakers are just ass, and then you come out and then it's just like, this doesn't sound the same. It just kills your whole vibe, You got to find speakers and like maybe headphones or whatever that are tuned to your ear and that you're comfortable with, that like give you the right sound every time, and just stick with it. Like just stick with it.
All right, we have Daniel Gizzy says, what are your favorite saturation distortion plugins, mainly for 808s and drum?
Distortion plugins. I keep it simple. Sometimes I just use the Fruity Dist, or I use Guitar Rig. I use a Camel Space. Sometimes, like there's just so many, like Space Effect. There's just so many like good distortion plugins. It's like almost endless. It's just whatever your preference is.
Soulsaful says, how do you explain your longevity on the top as a producer?
How do I explain my longevity on top as a producer? I explain it, like I'm a student of Dr. Dre. I'm a student of Timberland, Pharrell, Swiss, all these guys, all the guys that are Scott Storch, all the guys that have had years and years of success. And the pattern that I notice with them is they're forever evolving. They're forever being open-minded and forever tapped in, to what's going on now. And you can't let like that getting older syndrome affect you listening to new music. Like if you really want to stay tapped in, you got to stay tapped in. Like you got to listen to the new music and you got to hear and know what's going on. So with me, I follow that blueprint and I always try to stay ahead of the curve. I always try to innovate. I always try to take risks with music, sounds, production, ideas, everything, even working with new artists. I just stay moving forward, and the mentality just has to always be forward thinking. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a student of all those guys, and I feel like me being in this game successfully for so long, I've been able to morph into so many different things throughout the years, so many different styles, and keep up with so many different styles and genres, and just keeping the palette well-rounded, So I would accredit that to longevity and just having honest friends, friends that'll be like, yo, this sounds trash, bro, and just honest people around you. So, that's how I credit longevity.
Next question from Phil Smiles. He says, Wanda, are there any new producers that you're excited about?
Oh yeah, for sure. TT Audi out of Pittsburgh. My guy, he's one of the hardest working guys I've ever met in my life. I haven't seen anybody that work harder than him. Maybe, I don't know, like Murder Beats maybe works hard, but Audi works so hard, man. That kid is amazing. I actually recently heard this producer I think he's from Mississauga, named AT. He's really dope. Brand new producer. OZ been in the game for a while, but OZ's amazing, man. He's really turned up this year. New producers. Yeah, there's so many, man. Like it's just like, I feel like Toronto is like the home of the dope producers. So yeah, there's just so many people like on the come up, and it's really amazing, man. So I love it.
Next question is from Leonard. Leonard wants to know, how do you start working with people like OZ who are all the way over in Germany? How do those connections happen?
Man, I will say this, man. I'll give you a little brief story of OZ. I met OZ online once, actually, and OZ is such a hardworking guy, man. Ever since I've known him and known about him, he's been firing beats. Like anytime I went in my email, I see an OZ every time. I was like, bro, does this guy only make beats? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I credit OZ's hard work finally paying off, and that man. And I had a chance to meet him a few years ago. I got introduced to him by a producer I work closely with named Seven Thomas, who's like my brother. And I met OZ, and he was just a really good vibe and a hardworking, talented kid. And he just had that student's mentality, and he always wanted to learn. He always wanted to cook up. And, that's how the connection happened. I met him through Seven, and yeah, man, we just started working together, and OZ's like family now, and he's winning. I think he's like #1 producer and songwriter on Billboard right now. So that's crazy, man. Going all the way from Germany, worked his ass off, and now he's on top winning. So it's amazing.
We got a question from Emil John Dela Rose. When you're making chords or melodies, do you plot it on a piano roll?
Sometimes. I've been using this VST called Cthulhu. It's kind of like cheating. It'll like make up chords for you, but it's fun, man. Sometimes you just want to hear a sound and some chords, and I just play around with it and I catch some waves sometimes. So yeah, that's or I'll just work with like Jahan Sweet, who was like Juilliard chord master. Like it's very easy when you got somebody like that in the studio with you who can just play any chord, any key, any whatever. He'll play a chord in the key of Z. It doesn't even exist, but he'll find it somehow. But yeah, that's how.
Okay, we got a question from Benedict Gladbach.
Oh, Benedict! Shout out to Benedict.
How long do you work on one beat without making a break to avoid the danger that your own opinion on the song gets a little bit strange?
You know what? As of recently, I've been making a lot of quick beats and quick ideas. I've just been having fun, There's a time and place for everything. It's like, there's a time to be intricate. There's a time to just have fun and let loose, make quick music. And, right now I'm in a space of just like, I'm just making fun stuff, like quick, fun music. It seems like that's what everybody's enjoying. So I'm having fun doing it. So.
Question again from Tired Lights. He says, when collabing with other producers, do you feel that one person always has to take the driver's seat and call the shots?
Sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it can definitely be a thing where it's like you have to take the driver's seat, but sometimes it just all comes natural and everything falls into place working with certain people. Like, like one of my favorite guys to work with as well is like Elangelo. And like he's very like working with Elangelo when I'm in the studio with him, he's like he's controlling everything, and I don't have a problem with that, And there'll be some times I work with somebody, and like I'm in the driver's seat, but like I like working with Elangelo because he's cool. He takes control, and you add, and it's just always like a vibe. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends, but like it's like it's if you don't have an ego or like that stuff doesn't bother you, then it always makes fun and it always makes for great music. So with me, I have absolutely no ego, especially in the studio, and I just do what works. And, it's been working. So.
Zion Mizan says, how do you suggest an upcoming producer reaches out to bigger producers and artists?
Send them music, figure out what events they're going to, go there, meet them. Don't be afraid to speak to them, connect with people, get it any way you can, man. Like for me, it's just like, get it how you live. My story is not going to be the same as yours. So I'm not going to be like, yeah, you got to do this and this and this, and this is how you're going to make it. Just get it how you can, man. But just don't be afraid to get it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people and a lot of, producers and music people are very introverted and suffer from anxiety and whatnot. You just got to jump into that pool. Like how I need to download FL20. You just need to jump into that cold water and it's not so bad after all. When you just jump in, but you just got to do it. So with that being said, you just got to be outgoing, even if you're not outgoing, and get out there and, just figure it out.
Okay. We got a question from Kagiso MKG. He says, what's up from South Africa? Please take us back to the young Boi-1da and the day you turned professional.
Wow. Shout out to Kagiso and shout out to all of South Africa. Shout out to Africa, period. I really want to go to Africa one day. That would be amazing. That would be a dream for me to go to Africa. Take us back to the day Boi-1da and the day I turned professional. I'm not even sure what day I became professional, but yeah, man, a young Boi-1da was very eager and hungry to just make music with whoever and just be heard, and I was just relentless. I was relentlessly pursuing my dream, and for anybody pursuing a dream, that's how you got to be. You got to be relentless, and you got to be willing to sacrifice a lot to get where you want to go, because nobody's really getting in your way other than yourself. So a young Boi-1da didn't allow anybody to get in his way, no matter what anybody said. I've had people literally at 17, I've had grown men bring me into their office to tell me that they don't understand why people keep talking about me. They don't get the hype, this and that. You know what I'm saying? And like, you can't let things like that. You can't let little roadblocks like that like bother you. You just gotta relentlessly go after your dream, and that's what I did. And you know, by the grace of God, and I'm here, and you know, I was able to do what I've done. So,
So Nicolo has another question. A question about Omnisphere.
mhm.
It says, do you add plugins to make it sound real, or you just leave it to the engineers?
So I had plugins to make Omnisphere sound real.
Yeah.
Mm. Sometimes it just depends. Some of the sounds in there are good by themselves, but yeah, like sometimes you could throw a little effect on something. Sorry, make it sound a little cool and whatnot. You know, just depends. Depends on what you're trying to do. You know. Yeah. So we're looking for more questions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shout outs here, so
Yeah.
you know, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Nouveau OXO. Shout out to who was that? Jacob Banaka.
We got a good question here. We got a question from Ugana. He says, how do you have a signature sound without sounding repetitive?
How do I have a signature sound without sounding repetitive? I don't know. I just do it. I don't. For me, I just don't like to. For me, a lot of guys have preset sounds that they go back to. I deliberately scramble my own sound sometimes just to not hear the same things because I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So that's a way of doing it to me. I literally deliberately go in my folders and scramble everything. I'll go into folders and put different folders within folders and screw it up just to be more creative and just to be different every time. Because I don't use a tag, so like I guess you can't tell every time that it's me, but that's how I do it.
I guess this is kind of similar. JMac101101 wants to know.
Oh, so there's a lot of ones and zeros.
He says, how do you organize your samples?
How do I organize my samples? A lot of the times I just put them in folders, you know, or I got like a Dropbox, and yeah, just keep it organized, like how you keep anything organized, you know. Shout out from Brazil, Hector Borges. If I said that wrong, sorry. But shout out to Brazil, big shout out.
Okay.
This chat just jumped crazy. So
I seen a question from Juan. He said he wanted to know how did the Bieber collab come about.
The Bieber collab, how did that come about? Well, I work closely with my boy Pooh Bear and Tay James. Shout out to Tay James for like setting up the whole thing. But me and Pooh Bear and Tay just got in the studio and vibed out, man. And Vinyls, it was me, Vinyls, and Jahan Sweet. We all just got into the studio, vibed out, and Pooh Bear just put that pen to work. And you know, Justin did his thing too, separately, and yeah, it just worked out.
Andrea Cavallo wants to know, do you think that it's possible to produce music for work starting at 21 years old as a job?
Starting at 21, yeah, the beauty of music and the beauty of being a producer is like you can start whenever you want. You can be like I'm pretty sure you can be like a 50-year-old producer, whatever age you are just doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's a age limit. It's just all about the passion and how bad you want to do it, you know? So there's no age limit on anything.
Boo Q wants to know what's it like collaborating with Vinyls?
Bro, Vinyls is like my brother, man. I known that guy since he was probably like 15, and that's like my boy. He's one of the funniest people I know. So it's like just jokes and sick beats and sick ideas. Like when we get together, we don't miss, man. Like I don't think me and Vinyls have made anything not dope like together. Like, you know, it's just two guys that really get the job done every time, you know, me and him. And yeah, man, Vinyls is great guy, man, and an insanely like next level talented producer. So it's always a pleasure getting in the studio with my boy Vinyls.
So Roberto Escobar Reyes, he says, do you have any type of filter that you use to work with the clients that you have?
Do I have any type of filter
to work with artists? Like, do you filter out artists? I guess he's trying to ask, like, or do you just work with everybody?
Nah, I just work with who I like. You know, I like who I work with, and I work with who I like. You know? I don't filter anyone. You know, unless you know they're doing like wild shit that I don't approve of. You know, or I don't like the music. But I'll work with anybody I like. I think it's dope. I think that's how it should be, you know. Like me, I'm just a free spirit when it comes to music. So.
Okay, this is gonna be the last question. It's gonna be from Matt. He says, "Hey Wanda, how do you get sample loops? Do you buy packs or sample makers send you samples directly?"
Well, as of recently, a lot of guys have been sending samples to Sample Gateway. So that's my bro Mikey, and he literally gets the samples to me, and we got a Dropbox together. And I've been hearing a lot of people's samples. I actually flipped somebody's sample, and you know we got a song on Kaylani's album that's dropping tonight. Actually, at midnight, we did a song called "Serial Lover," and that came from somebody just sending a sample to Sample Gateway. Now you know we're all on a Kaylani album. You know, off of some dope like idea I flipped from a cool sample that I heard that somebody sent. So yeah, that's the way I've been getting my stuff, and yeah, it's been pretty good. Yeah, man. Well, maybe I'll answer like one more. How do you navigate industry? Oh, somebody asked, how do you navigate industry politics? Industry politics. Me, I don't get involved. That's how I navigate. Oh, that person did that. That person did that. Man, that's none of my business. I'm just here to make music. So.
Yeah. Okay, we can ask this question. I guess Roberto wants to know if you're looking to work with a specific artist, what are your steps? I guess
if I'm looking to work with, at this point, if I want to work with a specific artist, I just hit them up. Yeah. Where do you cut your hair? Yo, as you can see right now, somebody asked, where do I cut my hair? As you can see right now, nowhere. I look like a caveman. This is crazy. Send help. Send help. Struggling over here. If you could only take your laptop and 5 plugins into lockdown, what would you take? Yeah, you know what? I'd take Omnisphere, Atmosphere, I don't know, FabFilter, Saturn. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll answer one more question. This is the last question. Let's look for a good one. I'm gonna look for a real good question. Give me a sec. Let me see. Shout out Carterville. Cartervelli. Shout out Cartervelli. Well, okay, hold on. I'm trying to find a really good question to close this out with. Sign out question. Somebody asked me something crazy. I'll answer it. Okay, was that one on the bottom? Oh yeah, Sausage Fattener. Why for Sausage Fattener? What what advice would you give your younger self in regards to pursuing this career? Anything you would change or do over? Aaron Ruiz. Yes. What advice would I give to my younger self? I would say just be more outgoing to my younger self. Surround yourself with the right people, especially with management. You know what I'm saying? Like, get somebody who's willing to fight for you and scrap tooth and nail for you. And yeah, I would just tell myself to be more outgoing, you know. But you know that comes with time. So yeah. And where I just seen a crazy question. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and thank you guys very much. I hope I answered everything to the best of your guys' abilities. I appreciate you all, man, and love, man. Everybody around the world, enjoy yourself.
Thank you very much, Wanda. Thank you so
problem.
much.
Was that good?
That was amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks again. It's an honor to welcoming you, Wanda. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. There's some funny questions. I'm just laughing at them. Your best friend. Oh, man, that's funny. How much people do? How much guys did we have in it?
Many, and still in it. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Thank you so much, and please stay safe, stay at home, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
You too. All right. Thank you, guys.